Hey Sag, so it's me Alexis. Welcome back to my astrology channel, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a full moon horoscope on the 15th. There is a full moon coming up on the 15th of August, and it's going to be in 22 degrees Aquarius. So I want to go ahead and give you guys a horoscope and a tarot reading, and this reading will apply to Sagittarius suns and risings. So let's go ahead and get started. So Sagittarius, your full moon stuff is happening in your ninth house and your third house. So specifically, Leo is going to be in your ninth house, and then Aquarius will be in your third house. So with all of that, thought out, the Sun and Venus are going to be closely conjunct to each other in your ninth house, and then the full moon is going to be happening in your third house. And then on top of that, the transiting Saturn is going to be in your second house. The reason why I want to talk about that is because Saturn is going to be the lord of your third house. So let me go ahead and piece everything together. So the Sun and Venus have been conjunct in Leo in your ninth house. So for you, maybe there's a lot of stuff going on. Specifically, maybe you've been been out and about in the world for a bit. If you've been traveling, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe you've been spending a lot of time learning about new different things and new different perspectives. Maybe you're trying to reconnect yourself with your personal philosophy and your beliefs, and really just connecting yourself to the world, really. Because Leo rules your ninth house, and for you, whatever philosophy or beliefs that you have with the world and within yourself, you want it to be a personal reflection of yourself. So lately, you've been doing a lot of philosophizing, stuff like that, typical Sag stuff, I know. And then the moon is going to be in Aquarius in your third house. And the third house is the house of communication. It's your immediate environment, so not much traveling in this house, well, short distance. And it's also the house of your thoughts and your mind and how you communicate and people in close proximity to you. So like your siblings and your neighbors. Now, Saturn is transiting your second house right now. And lately, you've been trying to ground yourself. Maybe this is you trying to have better spending habits. Maybe this is you being real with yourself, but also, reasserting, some self-esteem within yourself. This is a time for you to really just, get your shit together. This is Saturn and transiting through the second for you. You've been really trying to ground yourself lately. And then, So with all that going on, with the ninth house, you've been, really exploring lately. You've been been having an adventure with the world lately. Maybe that can be through traveling, or maybe just having an adventure and understanding the world. So with philosophy and beliefs. Now, you've been really out there lately and out in the world. However, with the third house is kind of like, hey, you're all the way out there, come back here to where you started. And that is going to be your third house, because another way to look at the third house is seeing it as, your childhood outside of your house, or your family. So this is your childhood without your family, which is why classmates and siblings and your neighbors are kind of in this house. And with the full moon in Aquarius, this is kind of the full moon's way of saying hey, you've been out there, going on an adventure, a thought adventure with your philosophies and the way you've been thinking about the world and stuff. Now come back here, come back home, and actually take those thoughts home and make something out of it. Because the thing is, Sagittarius, is that you can explore all you want, and it can say a lot of great things about you. You can find a lot of things about yourself when you go out there and explore. However, it's not going to mean that much whenever you just stay there and you don't really root yourself. Having a Sagittarius rising, you're not really the most rooted person. And with this third house full moon, it's calling you to hey, one way you could try to root yourself is to gather your thoughts together and create some sort of mindset. So it's kind of if I have to paint a picture for this full moon, the message for you here is that you gotta come home eventually, so that you can gather your thoughts together. There's no point in learning so many different thoughts and so many concepts if you're not gonna tie it together into a nice package. There's no point. If you want to make it have a point, then you gotta package and make something together. So this is kind of the rationale that my philosophy professor had whenever I was at university. the reason why I had to write essays for philosophy is because, you know, I could have a whole bunch of fun reading a bunch of books and getting all their ideas and just having fun with them, but I'm not really responsible for what I learn until I write it down into an essay. I don't really I don't really own what I learned until I really just write it down. And I think that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting for you guys, Sagittarius, because, you know, you can learn and explore all you want, but there's no point if you can't apply it and if you're not being responsible for it. And I think, you know, responsibility, sounds familiar, kind of reflects what is going on with the transiting Saturn in your second house. Because the second house is the house of security. It could literally just mean money. It's the house of self-esteem, psychologically. And the purpose of doing all of this is that, you know, if you can be responsible for your words, that is like one step that you can take to, you know, being secure within yourself. Because if you can take responsibility for what you say, who knows what else you could be responsible for? You could be responsible for a whole host of things. And whenever you can become responsible in multiple things in your life, that creates more structure. And that's what you need right now. You need a lot of structure when it comes to you as a person, which is, you know, your second house transiting Saturn. So I think for you, like, you've been learning a lot about yourself through the stuff you've been learning out there in the world, but at some point you got to compile it all together into a nice story so that, you know, you can be responsible for that story and eventually, you know, create some responsibilities for yourself so that you can, you know, further the grounding process. So yeah, that's the astrological bit for you, Sagittarius, and I'm going to go ahead and give you guys that tarot reading. Man, my throat is starting to hurt. It started to hurt during the Scorpio video, but like, oh my god, my throat is really giving out for this video. So I think I'm gonna drink some water before I start the video for Capricorn. Okay. Okay, well, this is a lot. This is a lot. Yeah, this is a lot. Okay, so, okay. I got 3 of Cups reversed for you. I got the 8 of Cups reversed. And I got Strength. Okay, Sag. What are you... Oh my... Okay. Let me think about this for a second. I need to process and think of the best way to talk about this. What are you trying to avoid, or what are you trying to run away from? Because when I see the 3 of Cups, I mean, usually it shows a celebration of feelings. It shows that you can share your feelings, but you can't. And then there's the 8 of Cups, which shows that there's a struggle in letting go of something that's definitely not working anymore. It's implying that it's a relationship. And I'm thinking about how this applies to you astrologically, and it's the 9th house, the 3rd house, and the 2nd house. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, who are you trying to like keep in your life? I mean, it's your 3rd house and your 9th house, so it's like is it your siblings? Is it like some of your older classmates in high school or something? Like, who the heck are you keeping in your life? Because they're not really doing so hot for you. It's been due time for you to let them go. because they don't let you share how you feel, and you don't feel emotionally validated with these people. So I don't know what the heck is going on there. And strength is the card that you need to be. And yeah, like, I don't know what's going on, but if you feel like you can just kind of run away, with the ninth house energy, by like, not really tending to these relationships, I don't know. It seems like you're keeping someone in your life that's not really good for you. With the strength, I think the strength comes from you, philosophizing, or maybe just having a strong, coherent, sense of, beliefs that you're implementing for yourself. And some people in your life are not fitting the bill anymore, and they're not really helping your sense of security either. So it's in your best interest to let some of these people go. It was a little weird trying to not decode, but interpret this, because I looked at this and I was like, okay, this is a lot more emotional than I anticipated. This makes sense. And then I was like, how does this all work together? And I will definitely say that for this message, I would say you are starting to figure out your beliefs, or what you want out of life, or your perspective on life. And because of that, maybe this is highlighting, some terrible relationships, or some, unhealthy relationships that you're having right now. And it is time for you to let them go. It's time for them to disappear. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much like the tarot messages I'm getting from this. I will say that's a lot more emotional than I thought it was gonna be. So I was kind of like, whoa, cups. Where are all these cups coming from? So, yeah, that's pretty much my video for you, Sagittarius. Again, this applies if you're a Sagittarius sun or rising. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope that everything resonates with you guys. Bye, guys.